Hi, and welcome to Wasting No Time on HTV. I'm your host, Sharon Moses. On today's show, we are focusing on information for you. That's right, you, the citizens of this fine city. What do you need to know about what we do? What information would best serve you and your community? What solutions do we have for your solid waste concerns? In the studio today, we have James Bennett, Senior Superintendent at the Southwest Service Center, and Consuela Connie Fuentes, a solid waste supervisor over automation. They're here to tell us about SWMD, our services, and what this department has to offer. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi, and welcome back to Wasting No Time. Today we're talking about the Solid Waste Management Department and what we have to offer to the citizens of Houston. We have with us James Bennett and Connie Fuentes. They're here to tell us about what they do to service our residents of the city. Hi, James and Connie. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
As we highlight what the department does, we want to talk about garbage, I guess. I want to know kind of what made you all get interested in the garbage department?
To myself, it was just to be helping the community and keeping the city clean. Used to see our drivers come in our neighborhood, and I always wonder, can I do that? And that's how I got involved with the solid waste. I was already working for Park and Recreation, and one day I decided I'm going to go work for solid waste, and I was be the first female driver be in the neighborhood driving and collecting trash.
So how long have you been with the solid waste department?
24 years.
24 years, that's a long time.
Yes.
James, what about you? What drew you to this fascination with garbage?
Well, I think it was the challenge. I always like challenges, and the department has different challenges to deal with day in and day out. So that kept me in, and it still drives me today.
Why does the city need garbage collectors? Why is that important?
Well, I think the number one thing is sanitation, because that protects the public's health and the environment.
Connie, now you said you started out in Parks and Recreation?
Yes.
Did you have to get any special training coming over to solid waste to, I guess, service the garbage department?
Oh, yes. I had to have a CDL requirement, and the requirement is a list that I had at the CDL license for 6 months. But I already had my license for like 4 years.
Now, I understand you all just went through some basic training. Is that correct? You just had some courses. What type of training do they offer you all for the type of services that you provide?
We receive leadership training, and we just went, Mr. Bennett and I went to Dallas, had a great opportunity, the department, to send us out to learn how to educate our drivers about dry camp and learn about safety. And it was a great opportunity for us to learn, because one of our goals in our department is to maintain our drivers and safe condition, and also to help, to ensure that the public is safe.
Now, you're both supervisors, correct? So you're a senior superintendent. What is that? What is that exactly, James?
Basically, I supervise the supervisors, and I just ensure that everything in my district, runs effective and efficient throughout the day.
Okay, since we're highlighting what we do in our solid waste management department, kind of help the citizens understand like what the difference is between some of the services we provide. What is garbage, heavy trash, yard waste? What's the differences between that? What are we talking about when we say those things?
You're talking about programs. One of the programs that I'm responsible is for the household garbage collection and transportation. But since as supervisor, I get in contact with the public all day long, and I get all those questions. We have a trash fax that we pass to the citizen. We explain it to them, the programs, the services that we provide, and wanted automation, yard waste, bulk waste, and recycling. That is our main goal at this time. We're going to with expansion with recycling. It's a great thing that we have just gained 70 more thousand homes that we're going to provide in recycling.
So let me summarize a little bit of what you just said. For the Solid Waste Management Department, we provide various services to the city, the citizens of Houston,
yes.
right? We pick up household garbage. We pick up heavy trash. Is that correct? Recycling, and that's the expansion
Correct.
that you're talking
Yes.
about. There's yard waste.
Correct.
And what have I missed? Have I missed anything, James?
Dead animals.
Dead animals.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I want to talk about that. So we are responsible for picking up dead animals.
Correct.
If a citizen has a dead animal, how do they get a hold of solid waste? How do they let us know it's out there?
They will call 311, and 311 it will send us a work order to with the address and the citizens and what type of animal there is that we need to collect.
Do we pick up all types of animals?
We do. We pick up small animals, big animals, with the difference that we charge for big animals.
What's the charge for the big animals?
$96.34.
What's considered a big animal? James, give me a big animal.
Horse.
A horse. A horse is a horse, of course. So I want to go back and backtrack a little bit. You said you're trained on Drive Cam.
Sure.
What is that? What is Drive Cam exactly?
Drive Cam is a system that is implemented in our trucks and monitor the drivers through the whole day, the hours that they work, and is to prevent, educate them about safety and accidents, and also to help us as the supervisors to coach those employees is if they have some type of behavior, not wearing a seatbelt while they driving or transporting to the dumps.
So safety is very important for our department as well, and it's important internally, is what I'm
Correct.
understanding.
Correct.
Now, James, you said you supervise the supervisors. How many people do you supervise?
I have 8 direct reports.
8 direct reports. Okay, and they report to you about what's going on in the city? What
Right.
type of complaints and concerns do you have to address?
Anywhere from miss service, late service, anything the citizens has concern about, they come across my desk.
Very good. So you make sure that these things get taken care of.
Correct.
Is there something maybe either one of you would want maybe the citizens to know if they don't have the inside track? What is it that they need to know about our department and our services maybe that they're not aware of? What's a tip you could give someone out there?
The information that I've been getting in contact with the public stop me is about the services that we provide that they're not aware most of the time, and utilizing the programs that we have, such as the recycling, and we try to diverge those contents from the landfills, and we try to save space in landfill and also save the taxpayers money at the same time, and our department is very focused on that. So if the public will be more informed, we can prevent lots of those contents going to the landfills, and that's what our job, working out in the field to educate the public and let them know we have this program and this is how it works now, and we pass the trash facts and we inform them, let them know it's saving the department some money, the taxpayers in general. We help in the environment too.
Okay, so you all are actually out in the field doing the work.
That's correct.
So
Correct.
you all are actually out there where people can touch you and say, hey, this is going on. Now, do you get a lot of times people telling you, somebody missed my trash? Does that happen to you a lot?
Yes.
Is that the best way to handle it? How would you advise a citizen to report missed trash or missed services?
Through the 311 system.
311, why is that important, James?
Because that way we can get it, it gets to us quicker, because we're not always in the office. We're out in the field. We're making contact with the citizens. We're answering their concerns. And so a lot of times you have to be on the ground to take care of those.
Okay, but it's always good to call 311.
It is.
And when they do, you all get the messages.
Correct.
That's right.
Great. James and Connie, thank you so much for coming out to talk to us today. It's been a wonderful pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
We'll be right back with more Wasting No Time after this. Welcome back. I'm Sharon Moses, and you're watching Wasting No Time. Today we are discussing the Solid Waste Management Department and the services that we offer to our citizens. We are highlighting some of the things that we do to better serve you. We're talking to the people that make things happen, the movers and the shakers out in the field. And with us today, we have Tyrone Alzan, Senior Superintendent, and Vernette Linnell Jordan, Customer Service Representative 1. Tyrone and Linnell are here to tell us about the depositories. I want to say thanks to you both for being on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
You know, I want to start with you, Tyrone. Tell me, what is a depository and what is the purpose, please?
A depository is a manned site that we have where people can discard their heavy trash, recyclables, One of the main purposes where it helps the city of Houston is it helps curb the amount of legal dumping that we have in the city by giving the citizens extra opportunities to get rid of their heavy trash just besides their scheduled once-a-month day. And that's primarily the main focus of the depositories.
So there is a problem in the city of Houston with illegal dumping then?
Major problem, yes, ma'am.
Can you explain how the depository works?
Citizens they come in, they'll drive up to the window attendant, present their proper documentation. Once they have signed in, you go over to the loading dock, and depending on the type of materials that you have, you dump into different bays. We have tree waste, we have recyclable, we have scrap metal, different commodities that we take. But once you sign in, depending on the type of garbage that you have, the heavy trash, they load you to the proper place and discard of it.
Very good. Now, Linnell, you work in the depository section as well.
That's correct.
What is it that you do? How do you service the citizens from your position?
From my position, we have a lot of citizens that call in, want to know exactly what time we're open, what exactly they can bring to the depositories, how long the time frame will be, for their wait.
Can you tell me what time are the depositories open?
Surely. Our depositories are open Wednesday through Sunday. Presently, we're open from 10 to 7 with daylight saving time. When that time changes, we'll be open from 9 to 6.
So you said Wednesday through Sunday. Are we excluding Monday and Tuesday?
Correct.
Why is it?
But that Monday and Tuesday gives us an opportunity to actually go in and clean the facilities. We have other unmanned sites, which is Clear Lake and Kingwood, that we go and take care of that. So that gives our drivers an opportunity to take care of those two other areas.
I'm glad that you said unmanned sites. Can you touch a little bit? What's the difference between an unmanned site and a manned site?
Typically, the depositories are manned sites, and convenient sites like Clear Lake and Kingwood, the recycling sites, they're unmanned. So that's primarily the difference. Most of the unmanned sites are recycling sites, and the manned sites are the depositories because you have kind of more hazardous garbage and waste that will come in that requires someone to be there to make sure it doesn't get contaminated.
Now, I smile because when I first started with solid waste about, I think, 7 years ago, something drove me crazy between the depositories and the drop-off sites. I, for some reason, for a while, couldn't get that concept in my mind. Can you clarify what those are? We've got depositories and then we've got drop-off sites. And I know you're touching on manned and unmanned. Divide those up for me so that the citizens will understand and maybe get it a little more clearly before, than I did.
Well, our depositories, the best way to probably put it is our depository sites, we do take recycling at the depository sites as well as heavy trash. But at our drop-off sites, we take just recyclables.
Okay.
Sometimes it gets a little bit of confusion because you see the same trucks coming in and some of the same type boxes, but that's kind of the difference between the two. The depository sites, we do take recyclable as well as heavy trash, but at the drop-off sites, we only take recyclables.
Now, Linnell, I know that you have to have, Tyrone said something about having identification.
That's
when
correct.
they come to the depositories. What type of identification are we talking about?
We're talking about their driver's license or any type of legal ID that they would have. Citizens also need to be able to have their utility bills. We will take electronic bills.
Okay.
Currently, we're taking that. So with that particular ID, that will have to match their utility bill. The names will need to be able to match their utility bill.
So the names and the addresses, they have to be exactly the same? Does it matter what utility bill we have? Because I know for the longest we would say the water bill. Does it matter if I bring you a light bill?
That's fine.
Okay, so the bill itself doesn't matter, just want the connection. Now let me ask you this. Coming to a depository, if I want to drop off just recycling, will you still have to have identification for me?
No, ma'am. You just be required to sign in, as all our visitors are required to sign in, but you don't need the documentation that you would need to dump trash.
So, okay, I like what you, documentation is only for dumping the trash.
Exactly.
Okay, now what type of trash? You said we can bring recycling, you can bring metal. Can I bring tree waste to the depositories?
Yes, ma'am. That's actually the majority of the things that we get are tree waste for us with the garbage. But you can bring your tree waste in, you can bring heavy trash in. We do not accept household garbage.
Okay.
You can bring scrap metal in.
Okay.
For us, recyclables, you can bring plastic, glass, cardboard. We do accept used motor oil, but we do ask the citizens to put the oil back into the original container because sometimes they may put in an old milk jug and that contaminates the oil, then we won't be able to accept it. We do accept mattresses at
Right.
the depositories.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, which
Yeah.
is really been successful.
Okay.
So those are the type of refuge that we take at the depositories.
I'm so glad that you're talking about the things that we accept. I wasn't aware that we were taking mattresses. I think we talked about that before, but we are really taking them. Are we taking them in every depository now?
We take them in every depository.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Linnell, you get a lot of questions from our citizens, I'm sure, in your position. Is there anything that you would like the citizens to know that maybe you have the inside track on, that they just need to understand? Is there something you can tell them to keep them informed?
Well, the one thing about it, we have a lot of citizens that call in, and they're a little bit upset about the wait time. Sometimes that happens because the fact that we have such a large volume of customers coming in. We do let them know that we have at least a 2-hour wait. Sometime that will initially happen. Just be patient with us. You know, our drivers are coming in. We have our persons that are working up on the ramps to take care of them as efficiently and, you know, as properly as it can be done.
And I have to get this in. I know we're running out of time, but what you want to give a point right quick, Tyrell?
And the other part to the 2-hour wait is each citizen's allowed 20 minutes to get rid of their garbage.
Okay.
So if you're the 5th person in line and there's 4 people in front of you and each one of those use their 20 minutes, so sometimes, you know, people come in and they're allowed 20 minutes to get rid of their trash. So that's sometimes related to the 2-hour wait.
Is there a limit in the amount of recyclables or garbage that we can bring to the depository?
With recycling, we encourage you to bring all you can. You know, you know, we don't have a limit on that.
recyclables,
But for as the garbage, you can come in with a 16-foot trailer, 4 feet high.
Okay.
That's our max, and the 4 feet high is from the bottom of the trailer, not from the ground up. So that's our max. 16 feet trailer, long, 4 feet high. We do ask that if you have loose debris, that you bag it up.
Okay.
You know, so it's discarded.
And my last question, Linnell, has to be for you. I am John Q. Citizen or Jane Q. Citizen. How much does this cost?
Nothing. It is free. Totally free.
I want to thank you both for coming out. I really enjoyed your presentation today. Please come back and tell us more about the depository sometime.
Surely will.
We sure will. Thank you.
We're welcome. More wasting no time after this. Thanks for staying tuned in. In the studio today is Chris Ford, an environmental investigator 2, and Gerald Simples, an equipment worker in solid waste. We are talking to them about the services that they provide to the department via the Environmental Service Center in Southwest Houston. Chris and Gerald, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Chris, I want to start off with you. Can you tell me what is the Environmental Service Center?
Well, the Environmental Service Center is a facility that citizens of Houston can come dispose of any hazardous household waste, e-waste, scrap metal, and things of that nature that can't go in the regular landfill.
And why should people use ESCs? We call them ESCs, Environmental Service Centers.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we do the hazardous part of it. We test the actual household chemicals.
Wow. Okay. So then if I have household chemicals, you're saying I shouldn't put them in my regular garbage can?
No.
There is a place to take them.
There is a place to take it.
Now, who is eligible to bring these materials to your center?
City of Houston residents.
Okay, so if you're a City of Houston resident, you can bring your environmental hazardous waste to your center.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
have to show any type of proof that you're a resident?
Most of the time, we pretty much know where you're coming from once we ask the proper questions, or we prefer you bring a water bill.
Okay, so like with the depositories that we had in the previous segment, we are asking that you show ID, Chris.
Well, no, just your water bill.
Okay, just the water bill,
Yeah,
that's
just
enough?
your water bill. If you bring your water bill, we know you're a citizen of Houston.
What if I bring a light bill? Would that work for your area or no?
Yeah, yes, light
Okay.
bill, and we ask you, what's your zip code, what's
Okay.
your subdivision.
So you can
so
tell.
if we know pretty much every zip code in the city. So
But be safe, bring a water bill, and it's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And the citizens of Harris County, what if I'm in Harris County, but I'm not in the City of Houston? May I come to the center as well and dispose of my environmental hazardous waste?
Well, actually, Harris County has their own facility,
Okay.
but I think their days coincide with ours. So they're open, we're not. We're closed, they're open.
And let's talk about that. I'm glad that you mentioned that. When is the Environmental Service Center opened?
Every Tuesday and Wednesday from 9 till 3.
9 to 3. And why is that? Why is it not open Monday through Friday? Can you tell me, Chris?
yes, reason because the volume that we take in,
Okay.
we do over 1 million pounds of hazardous waste a year, and those other days we're categorizing, we're testing, we're drumming up different chemicals for disposal.
So you are still working?
Oh yes,
You're
we're
just
still
closed to the
Yeah, 'cause
public?
It's very dangerous for us to handle flammables, handle acids and bases with the public going in and out the facility.
Now let's talk about that for a minute. You all do you have separate jobs or separate titles? Do you pretty much do the same thing?
We do the same thing.
Same thing.
And what is that? What is it that you do?
We actually go through and bulk gas and pour out chemicals. We bulk antifreeze. We bulk paints. We do a lot of.
Now, see, just listening to you, I get a little nervous. It sounds like there may be some special training. And I mean, do you know what you're doing? Do you have to get trained for this position?
Yes, ma'am, we do. We go through a 40-hour HAZWOP, which is governed by OSHA, and we have 8-hour refreshers per year. So we got to know what we're doing because our motto is we're going home safe at the end of the day.
Okay, so how can you help our citizens in regards to to hazardous waste? What do they need to know about hazardous waste and bringing it to the service center?
We ask that they bring it in some type of box, sitting upright. We have a lot of people come in with stuff just thrown in bags, and which is dangerous. I mean, we had one lady come in one time, and she was in a hatchback car with pool chemicals that were wet. She got out, she was dizzy. So that was really dangerous.
Okay. I know I read somewhere that I think that you should put the chemicals in the trunk. Is that true, Chris?
I would prefer that you do put it in the trunk.
Okay.
That way it's not in the cab of your car with you. You're not inhaling those fumes. And a lot of different things just don't play well with each other. So that's why we want everything kind of neatly as you can and make sure it's contained and not spilling or leaking.
So what else do we accept at the Environmental Service Center? I understand there's paint. Now, do you all just accept latex paint or oil-based paints?
Both.
Both. I thought at some point we were only taking latex. How has that changed?
Well, at the ESC, we take both latex, oil-based enamels, epoxies, tars, whatever. At our West Park facility, they only take latex paint because they're not equipped with sprinklers. They're not equipped to handle combustible material, and they don't have lockers and things of that nature.
Okay, so latex is technically not considered hazardous waste, and that's why it can go to West Park.
Right.
But you all take oil-based and everything else because you're chemically trained for all this. Now, did you have a background in chemicals? Is this something that you just happenstanced upon, or?
Well, I have a chemical background, hazmat background, dealing with spills, soil remediation, water, confined space, all that good stuff. I played with a lot of chemicals in my day.
What about you, Gerald?
No, I came in learning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're actually trained for your position?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
we will offer training for this type of position in the solid waste department.
Yes, ma'am.
What else do we do? I understand BOPA. What is that?
BOPA stands for battery, oil, paint, and antifreeze.
Okay.
And that's when we go to a certain area of the community. 2 weeks ago, we were in Kingwood. We set up this mobile collections. Have the citizens come in their cars, we unload their cars, we segregate the different products, and we dispose of them, or we go through them and reuse them.
So this is something you'll actually set up in the community, in a neighborhood. How often do we do that a year? Do we know?
Twice a year.
Twice a year. Is it expensive to do that?
Oh, yes, it is.
Very.
Okay, so if I'm a citizen and I want you to bring the BOPA to my neighborhood or my community, how would I get that done?
You would have to go through your council people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm interested in setting up a BOPA, call my city council, and that's how they get it set up.
Yeah, you have to give it your city councilman, and it really has to be beneficial. In Kingwood, we took almost 500 cars within 4 hours. So
wow.
If we can't generate that type of volume, it's really not cost effective to the manpower, the vendors, the boxes, everything. It's kind of cost effective.
Now, can you all talk to me a little bit about, I understand we give away free paint.
Yes, ma'am.
When is that in question? Is it latex paint or is it oil-based paint, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Every Friday we do a giveaway. Once we go through and test out all the chemicals that we get, we go through and put it on the shelves. And every Friday from 9 till 12, and we go through and give a giveaway.
How much paint can I take away? Is there a limit?
Yeah, we tell each citizen 7 gallons of paint.
Okay.
And 3 household items, pesticides, chemicals, things that are in good standing that we get in, we'll give those away. We try to make it a limit, that way everybody can get something, and everybody can be happy.
So this division is a little bit different then. If people bring things in, people can actually come and take things away.
Yes, ma'am.
In our other areas, once they give it to the city, it belongs to the vendors and we can't So what type of equipment, or I guess, what type of material do you all give out besides paint?
Household chemicals, anything to clean or anything for your yard, or you know.
Yeah, if you come in with a ball of 409, you went to the big box store and you bought too much. So now you bring it to me, or Jared, we take it, we look at it, we test it, make sure it's what it is, clean it up, put it on the shelf, give it away.
Chris and Gerald, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Great information for our citizens. Will you come back and tell us more about the Environmental Service Center?
Yeah, we sure will.
Wonderful. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Good to have you. Well, thanks for staying with us. Hope you enjoyed today's discussion of educating our citizens about solid waste services. If you would like to find out more about our department, please visit our website at www.houstonsolidwaste.org or call us at 311. And always keep us social. Like us on Facebook at Houston Solid Waste and follow us on Twitter at Houston Trash. I'm Sharon Moses, and you've just watched Wasting No Time. See you next time.